Hamilton Water Tax, A Look into Hamilton Harbor by Adriana, Allison, Marissa, and Peter. Hamilton Harbor is a highly accessible source of water found on the western end of Lake Ontario. This harbor provides many different values to the surrounding cities and is therefore considered one of the greater water resources of the Greater Toronto Area, or the GTA. In the late 1700s, the presence of the bay was a big contributing factor to water transportation as well as early development in the surrounding cities, specifically Hamilton. Since the development of the harbor, it has come to many uses to the surrounding residents, including access to fisheries and water transportation, as well as a marina and shipping center, in addition to providing a habitat for surrounding wildlife and a place for parks and recreation accessible to local residents. In Hamilton Harbor, swimming and other recreational activities are discouraged due to the pollution found in this area. Urban establishment and industrialization led to the unhealthy state that the harbor is now found in. Throughout the 70s to present day, Hamilton Harbor was and still is under a plan of action in order to reduce the amount of stress these pollutants have and are causing on water quality of this bay. Pollution controls, ecological controls, and water quality awareness all play a part in the action of reducing the negative health effects associated with the water quality of the harbor. And yet the harbor remains an area of concerns to locals and environmentalists. For this reason, we suggest to implement a tax of water consumption in the surrounding areas in hopes of reducing stress on the water treatment plants in this area.
We propose a water tax for all Hamiltonians that would be based on their monthly water consumption habit. We believe this approach will reduce the amount of wastewater reaching the treatment plant, which will also lower water consumption. The household will go through a green or red test process based on their hydrometer level, which will further on be explained during implementation. The water pollution varies, and they're also very difficult to assess individually in terms of control groups, since there may be more than one cause of the problem. Hence, taxing will overcome this issue. Lastly, we also need to consider the fact that many water quality projects involves large investment for changes to occur, such as treatment plants, sewer system, and flow control devices. Therefore, taxing promise a source of funding ready to be used.
Our goal of implementing a water tax is for consumers to reduce their fresh water consumption, which will result in decreasing the pressure on the Hamilton Harbor wastewater treatment plant.
Taxation is a very successful method in terms of stabilizing emission gas production as it compares to cap and trade, which was previously mentioned in class Enviro 3ER3. The degree of taxation can be affected by a few factors, such as the size of the households and the number of people living in the household. The way we can determine these factors are by having them indicate how many people are living in the household, as well as the size of the house upon payment of the water bill. Based on the data received after determining these factors, we can establish an algorithm to calculate their degree of taxation. They will not have to pay the tax on every cubic meter used, but an exceeded amount will be calculated based on these factors, and water usage that exceeds that amount will then be taxed. A color stamp will be given on each payment bills. The tax will be based on monthly household consumption, which we will uncover through each household hydrometer level. The color red will be given to households that have exceeded their calculated water limit consumption. Therefore, taxation will be applied to those households. The color green will be given to households that are below their calculated water limit consumption. Therefore, tax credit will be rewarded to those households. What is tax credit? It is a sum rewarded based on the differences calculated between the exceedance value and their usage value. The credit can be saved and used for future taxing purchases if the family ever exceeds the expected value.
So why we selected this approach? We selected the taxing approach on water consumption, hoping that it would hold the citizens of Hamilton accountable for their water consumption habits. This approach does not harm the population, rather it increases the value of water in hopes of reducing the chances of it being misused. Lastly, in the past, taxes have been used as an effective method in reducing various forms of waste, such as greenhouse gases. Therefore, we believe taxes will be a great approach towards reducing wastewater and lowering water consumption. Why we think this is the best option to reducing water consumption habits. In our opinion, we believe that applying a water tax is the most effective option in reducing water consumption habits by keeping citizens accountable for their consumption habits. Many citizens wastefully use water within their homes without realizing the effects it has on the environment. An example of a place that has placed a tax on water is Scotland in the United Kingdom. Scotland has implemented various methods in applying its water tax based on if you are connected to the public water source or a private source, as well if you have a meter or not. Those who are connected to a private water supply are exempted from paying a water tax, whereas those connected to the public supply pay a water tax either through their council tax or in Scottish Water directly.
Benefits of taxing. Although the idea of taxing and costing residents more money seems to be negative, there are many positive benefits of implementing a water tax. Currently, citizens take advantage of having fresh water and don't appreciate the true value and how important it is to everyday life. When people are limiting their consumption, they notice how key it is to a normal functioning life, thus they will learn to value water and all the good it provides. This will also lead to environmental benefits such as minimizing water pollution and discharge into the harbor, decreasing the chance of potential health risks, and saving energy that is used to pump, heat, and treat water. Taxing also leads to the protection of our freshwater resources, as water is a precious necessity of life. All of these benefits result in a cleaner and more sustainable Hamilton Harbor.
The target audience for the water tax includes Greater Hamilton area. The average water consumption in Canada in 1989 was 352 liters per person a day, and in 2011, the value have decreased to 251 liter per person, which is essentially 2 full bathtubs per person a day.
Tips on reducing water consumption. We understand that it will be hard to suddenly cut down on water usage when you become so used to your current habits. However, water consumption can be easier than believed. The biggest appliances that use water are the shower, washing machine, dishwasher, and the toilet. By replacing these appliances with water-efficient versions, it will lead to increasing the water reduced. The average person uses 2.5 gallons of water per minute when showering. Therefore, if shower times were cut down by even a few minutes, it would make a big difference. An impressive technological advance is a smart shower. The shower head uses colored lights to alert you when you've used a certain level of water. The LED lights turn green, blue, red, and a blinking red when you've consumed over 13 gallons of water. Toilet flushing accounts for approximately 30% of the average home's water use. Installing water-efficient toilets led to using 1.28 gallons of water per flush in comparison to older toilets that can use as much as 6 gallons per flush. As well, you can save over 50% of the water you would typically use when you install a water-efficient dishwasher and washing machine. These efficient products led to significant water savings without compromising performance. These appliances can also lead to a decrease in money spent on water and an increase in annual savings. Some other tips on water conservation are maximizing the loads in the dishwasher and the washing machine. As well, rain barrels are effective in catching rainwater that can be later used for outdoor domestic water use.
In conclusion, we believe that the best way to reduce the negative environmental effects on Hamilton Harbor is to implement a water tax for Hamilton residents. As previously mentioned, this tax will be based on their daily water consumption habits, which will reduce the volume of wastewater reaching the treatment plant. Thank you for listening, and we look forward to hearing your opinions, questions, and concerns for our proposal.